The sky above Earth was a permanent bruise, choked by a perpetual shroud of toxic dust. Acid rain fell like venom, dissolving monuments and scarring the very land. Decades of unchecked consumption and a ruthless disregard for their home had finally pushed humanity to the brink. The air, thick with industrial effluvium and atmospheric decay, scraped at every breath, even through the flimsy respirators that were now as common as clothes. Life was a daily, desperate gamble for the few who remained, huddled in dwindling enclaves, their once proud cities crumbling into toxic seas. Their last, desperate hope was Project Genesis Echo. 10 individuals, humanity's brightest and toughest, would embark on a one-way trip aboard the Starseeker, a vessel pieced together from scavenged parts and fueled by sheer will. 5 scientists and 5 security intelligence personnel, a tiny spark of defiance against the dying night. Leading the science contingent was Dr. Aris Vance, a xenobotanist with an almost childlike wonder for new life, tempered by a sharp, analytical mind. Her gentle demeanor hid an iron will. Beside her, Dr. Kalen Thorne, the materials engineer, a man who could coax a circuit from rust and a shield from rock. Dr. Lena Petrova, the communications specialist, whose mind was a labyrinth of frequencies and signals, could talk to machines better than most people. Dr. Ben Carter, the astrophysicist and navigator, saw the universe in numbers, a calm anchor in chaos. And Dr. Anya Sharma, the tactical biologist and medic, whose knowledge of alien pathogens was as vast as her compassion for human life. The security team was just as formidable, each a specialist in their own right. Major Jax Joker Reynolds, their leader, was a tactical genius, whose sharp wit and a constant stream of dark humor masked a razor-sharp strategic mind. His laughter was often the only sound that broke the tension. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan was stealth personified, a whisper in the wind, capable of disappearing and reappearing at will. Corporal Liam Boom O'Malley, a demolitions expert, found a strange beauty in explosions, a man who could turn any obstacle into dust. Specialist Maya Singh, a combat medic and trained psychologist, was as adept with a rifle as she was at calming frayed nerves. And Private Finn Gadget Riley, the tech specialist and infiltrator, who could hack into anything and build a solution out of spare parts. The Starseeker was a marvel of human resilience, battered, worn, but still flying. It carried their last, precious hopes and a limited supply of advanced equipment, a testament to a civilization clinging to its final chance. After months of silent, star-strewn travel, they reached Xylos. The initial view from the Starseeker's viewport was breathtaking. A kaleidoscope of greens, deeper and more vibrant than anything left on Earth, stretched across the horizon. Shimmering flora pulsed with an internal light, and a unique, soft, almost organic hum resonated through the ship's hull. It felt like a living planet, a paradise. Their welcome was equally disarming. The Viridian hegemony aliens met them on Xylos's surface. There were creatures of ethereal beauty, their forms blending seamlessly with the lush jungle. Their skin shimmered with a myriad of green hues, their eyes glowed with an inner light, and their movements were pure, effortless grace. They communicated through a melodic telepathy, projecting an aura of profound wisdom and peace. "Welcome travelers from the dying star," a chorus of voices resonated in their minds. It was Elder Viridia, the hegemony's primary representative, her form radiating calm. "We have observed your struggle. We offer you our world's embrace." The Viridians were charming, offering gestures of friendship and curiosity. They shared intricate maps of Xylos, gifted them with strange, sweet fruits, and even offered ceremonial crystals that pulsed with faint light. They expressed profound joy at encountering another intelligent species, seemingly eager to exchange knowledge. It felt like a true new beginning. But beneath the verdant veneer and the calming telepathy, a colder truth lurked. The Viridians, humanity would soon discover, were not benevolent guardians of the galaxy. They had observed Earth for centuries, documenting its relentless consumption and self-destruction. They had concluded that humanity was a galactic virus, chaotic, unpredictable, and destined to consume and destroy any planet it touched. They saw themselves as galactic custodians, whose solemn duty was to purify the galaxy by preventing such expansion. Xylos, with its unique bioluminescent crystalline resource, a vital component of their own biology and technology, was sacred to them, a treasure they believed humans would inevitably plunder. Their friendship was a meticulously crafted deception, a sophisticated operation to gather intelligence and gauge human weaknesses before enacting their final, brutal solution. With the initial, seemingly warm welcome, the human team wasted no time. Their modular habitat units hummed to life, forming a compact research outpost amidst the vibrant green of Xylos. Dr. Aris Vance, the xenobotanist, was in her element, carefully cataloguing the shimmering flora, her fingers tracing the delicate patterns on bioluminescent leaves. Dr. Kalen Thorne, the materials engineer, began analyzing Xylos's unique geological formations, his sensors probing deep into the planet's rich crust. Everyone was buzzing with the excitement of discovery, a stark contrast to the despair they'd left behind. The Viridians continued their friendly visits. They'd drift into the human camp, their graceful forms blending with the jungle, engaging in what seemed like innocent conversations. They showed immense curiosity about human tools, marveling at the simplicity of a wrench or the complexity of a datapad. They'd observe combat training exercises with keen interest, their glowing eyes following every movement. Their telepathic queries were always polite, yet pointed. How do your personal energy shields function? What is the range of your explosive projectiles? How much fuel does your vessel require for interstellar travel? The humans, eager to foster goodwill, answered openly, believing they were building a bridge of interspecies understanding. But then, the accidents began. The first was a rock slide, a sudden cascade of boulders that tumbled down a seemingly stable incline, narrowly missing one of the perimeter security drones. Major Jax Joker Reynolds, leading a tactical exercise nearby, barked orders, his team reacting with lightning speed, securing the drone and clearing the path. "Looks like Xylos has a bad case of the hiccups, eh?" he quipped, but a flicker of something unreadable crossed his face. The Viridians arrived shortly after, radiating concern. "Our deepest apologies, friends. Xylos can be unpredictable. Are your devices unharmed?" Their questions were precise, focusing on how long it took the humans to stabilize the situation and the range of their emergency signals. A few cycles later, a mysterious power fluctuation briefly disabled Habitat Module Gamma, plunging it into darkness and cutting off life support for a terrifying minute. Humans scrambled, activating manual overrides and backup generators. The Viridians appeared almost immediately, their telepathic voices a symphony of feigned distress. "Such volatile energy flows here. You must be cautious. How many auxiliary power sources do you possess? How quickly can you reroute power?" Dr. Lena Petrova, the comm specialist, found no logical explanation for the surge, but dismissed it as Xylos's unique atmospheric interference. Then came the lost Viridian scout drone. It accidentally crashed just outside the human perimeter, its organic casing cracked. While the human team, led by Private Finn Gadget Riley, scrambled to assist, the drone, seemingly inert, subtly emitted a series of rapid, high-frequency scans. Before Riley could fully analyze the internal components, a Viridian retrieval team arrived, quickly apologizing and whisking the damaged drone away. Our oversight. Such sensitive equipment, but the drone had already mapped the human armaments, their defensive layouts, and even detailed schematics of their personal firearms. Captain Ben Carter, the astrophysicist and intelligence lead, was the first to connect the dots. He was a man who lived by algorithms and probabilities, and the pattern here was too precise, too beneficial to the Viridians. These weren't random accidents, they were calculated probes. He recalled the specific questions asked after each incident, the way the Viridians observed their reactions. His internal alarm bells, usually reserved for cosmic anomalies, began to ring. He pulled Major Reynolds aside, away from the ever-present, though polite, Viridian observations. "Jax," Carter began, lowering his voice, Have you noticed how convenient these accidents are for the Viridians? Each one seems to test a specific aspect of our capabilities. Yeah, I picked up on that, Ben, Reynolds replied, his usual jovial tone dropping a notch. First, they check our response time to a physical threat, then, our power grid. Now they've probably got a full schematic of every sidearm we carry thanks to that broken drone. They're like kids poking a beehive, seeing how it reacts, before they decide whether to smash it or just run. His laughter was now devoid of humor, a grim assessment. Together, Carter and Reynolds began a quiet, untraceable investigation. Gadget Riley, under the guise of calibrating equipment, used modified sensors to scan accident sites. He found minute traces of highly advanced Viridian tech embedded in the rocks, or subtle, almost undetectable energy signatures that didn't match Xylos's natural phenomena. They were too organized, too controlled to be coincidences. The chilling realization dawned on them: the Viridians were not friends. They were predators, meticulously studying their prey. The friendship was a sophisticated information-gathering operation, and the accidents were probes designed to identify human weaknesses. The confirmation came when Carter's modified deep scan array, disguised as a geological survey tool, detected a perfectly camouflaged Viridian monitoring station on a high ridge overlooking their base. It was a technological marvel, seamlessly blending with the organic environment, constantly observing human activities and transmitting data. They found conclusive evidence. Not only were the Viridians behind the accidents, but their data logs indicated a clear, escalating plan to assess, and ultimately, eliminate the human presence. The true scale of their danger hit them with the force of a physical blow. They were trapped, observed, and being systematically assessed for eradication. Realizing the depth of the deception, the human leadership, Thorne, Rostova, Carter, and Reynolds, held a clandestine meeting. The cold, hard truth was laid bare. The Viridians planned to eradicate them. To fight, they needed intel, something the monitoring station couldn't provide. They needed to crack the Viridian code. A daring, desperate plan was formulated: kidnap a high-ranking Viridian to extract critical information. Their target, Xylos, a mid-level commander who often visited their base, known for his slightly less fanatical views than Elder Viridia, and his exposure to key intelligence. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan and Private Finn Gadget Riley, their most covert operatives, were tasked with the impossible. They meticulously planned the abduction, using Xylos's dense, concealing jungle as their ally. The game of cat and mouse had just turned deadly. The jungle of Xylos, usually a symphony of organic hums and rustles, held its breath. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan moved like a wraith, her enhanced stealth suit blending seamlessly with the vibrant foliage. Private Finn Gadget Riley, his fingers dancing over a jury-rigged device, deployed an array of sonic dampeners, neutralizing the telltale sounds of their footsteps and the subtle whir of his gear. Major Jax Joker Reynolds, usually quick with a quip, was grim-faced, his eyes scanning every shadow as he provided tactical oversight. The target, Xylos, a Viridian sub-commander, making his usual patrol, the abduction was executed with chilling precision. Shadow Khan, a blur of motion, materialized behind Xylos, her specialized neural disruptor firing a silent pulse. Xylos crumpled without a sound, his glowing eyes dimming, his graceful form falling gently into a waiting camouflaged net. No alarm, no struggle. A clean capture. They swiftly transported him to a heavily shielded, hidden chamber deep within the human base, a room purpose-built for sensitive research, now repurposed for desperate measures. The interrogation began. It wasn't about physical force. Humanity was beyond that. It was about psychological warfare, led by Dr. Anya Sharma, the team's psychologist and tactical biologist. She sat across from the restrained Xylos, her voice calm, even empathetic, but her words cutting like blades. She laid bare the Viridian hegemony's hypocrisy, their false friendship, their cold, calculating intent to eradicate humanity. "You speak of purity, Xylos," she projected, her voice resonating directly into his mind, bypassing his communication implants. yet your actions reek of deceit, and a genocide far more destructive than any virus." Xylos, still disoriented, thrashed weakly. He was not entirely fanatic. Dr. Sharma sensed a flicker of conflict within him, a doubt about his hegemony's extreme methods, or perhaps a deep-seated fear of failure. She pressed, revealing snippets of the data they'd collected, the accidents, the monitoring station. Slowly, painfully, Xylos began to break. The revelations were horrifying. The Viridian hegemony's true motive, not galactic custodianship, but galactic purification. They genuinely believed humanity was a destructive virus, a chaotic force that, if left unchecked, would contaminate and ultimately destroy the ordered harmony of the galaxy. Their observations of Earth's demise fueled this conviction. Their full battle plan, a coordinated, overwhelming attack to eradicate the entire human team once they had gathered enough intel on human weaknesses. The accidents were merely reconnaissance. Their advanced weaponry, Xylos provided terrifying details. They possessed sophisticated sonic weaponry capable of causing disorientation, internal organ damage, and structural collapse. They employed chilling bioagents, toxic spores that induced paralysis, pheromones that triggered uncontrollable panic or profound lethargy in their targets. And most dangerously, their elite skimmer units utilized advanced camouflage and phasing technology, allowing them to become almost invisible and partially intangible. Crucially, Xylos pinpointed the location of their main forward operating base, FOB, a massive, camouflaged facility deep in the Xylos jungle, the nerve center of their eradication strategy. The human team listened, a cold dread seizing them. Their ship, the Starseeker, was identified as Elder Viridia's primary target for destruction to prevent any escape. They were trapped, outnumbered, facing an enemy far more sophisticated and ruthless than they had imagined. Panic threatened to set in, but Dr. Aris Vance, the lead scientist, cut through it. Panic means death. We adapt. We fight. This triggered a desperate, intense period of innovation. The 5 scientists, with crucial input from the security team, transformed into a war council. Their small, makeshift lab became a forge of improbable countermeasures. Dr. Aris Vance, the xenobotanist, immersed herself in Xylos's unique ecosystem. She raced to create counter-bioagents that could neutralize Viridian toxins, and more aggressively, to develop bio-lure flares, compounds that, when deployed, would attract Xylos's most dangerous native predators towards Viridian patrols, turning the planet's own fauna into an unlikely ally. Dr. Kalen Thorne, the materials engineer, became a whirlwind of furious creation. He scavenged every piece of metal, every discarded circuit. Working with Xylos's unique resonant minerals, he developed adaptive shielding to protect human equipment from sonic attacks. His masterpiece, Echo Mines, small self-bearing devices that would detonate with precise sonic and EMP bursts, designed to disorient and cripple Viridian technology and phasing capabilities. Dr. Lena Petrova, the comms specialist, tirelessly worked on frequency manipulation. Her goal was to not just jam, but to utterly scramble Viridian communications and create localized EMP bursts capable of disrupting their delicate camouflage and phasing tech, making the skimmers visible and vulnerable. Dr. Ben Carter, the astrophysicist, became the tactical brain. He pored over Xylos's relayed data, identifying strategic weaknesses in the Viridians' FOB defenses, anticipating their movement patterns, and calculating optimal attack vectors. Dr. Anya Sharma, the tactical biologist, worked hand-in-hand with Vance on bioweapons, but also meticulously prepared anti-toxins and medical countermeasures, knowing the fight would be brutal. Every piece of salvaged human tech, every sample provided by Xylos, every unique resource from Xylos, became precious. They were short on materials, so ingenuity was their only abundance. The security team trained rigorously with these new experimental weapons. Corporal Liam Boom O'Malley worked tirelessly with Dr. Thorne to perfect the deployment and detonation of the Echo Mines. Maya Singh tested the bio-lures, observing their effects on Xylos's volatile ecosystem. The air in the bunker crackled with desperate energy. They were 10 humans against an entire hegemony, trapped on an alien world, but now they had a plan. And a new kind of weapon, their collective, desperate genius. The air in the human bunker crackled with a nervous, electric energy. Below the green canopy of Xylos, the 5 security personnel, now armed with their desperate, improvised arsenal, prepared for an impossible mission: to strike at the heart of the Viridian Forward Operating Base, FIC. The scientists, their faces grim, would provide remote support, their knowledge now the ultimate weapon. "Remember the plan," Major Jack's Joker Reynolds stated, his usual banter replaced by grim focus. "This isn't about direct combat. It's a surgical strike. Get in, hit their core and get out." He checked the charge on his modified plasma rifle. "We're going to give Elder Viridia a very bad day." The team moved like phantoms through Xylos's dense, living jungle. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan led the way, her phase shifter suit, a marvel of Dr. Thorne's engineering, using Xylos's unique bioluminescent crystals for temporary camouflage, making her almost invisible against the shimmering foliage. Private Finn Gadget Riley, his eyes darting, deployed tiny self-burying echo mines along their infiltration route. These devices, designed by Dr. Thorne and fine-tuned by Liam O'Malley, emitted a low, inaudible hum, waiting to unleash their sonic and EMP payload. The journey was harrowing. The jungle itself was a maze of razor-sharp vines and strange, predatory flora. They encountered a few stray skimmer patrols, their advanced camouflage making them nearly undetectable. But the humans were ready. Dr. Lena Petrova, from the bunker, activated a localized comms jam, causing the skimmers' movements to become erratic, disoriented. This gave Liam Boom O'Malley the precious seconds he needed to launch a flashbang, momentarily blinding them, allowing Shadow Khan to slip past, or Gadget Riley to drop an echo mine that pulsed, frying their systems before they could react. As they neared the FOB, the air grew thick with a palpable energy. The base was a masterpiece of organic concealment, nestled within a massive hollowed-out tree-like structure. Its outer shell shimmered, almost invisible to the naked eye. "All right, Boom," Reynolds' voice crackled over their secure comms. "Your turn to make some noise." Corporal O'Malley grinned, a grim, excited glint in his eye. He placed precision charges on several key structural points of the base's outer shell, guided by Dr. Carter's meticulous schematics of Viridian architecture. "Clear," he yelled. The explosions, muffled by the dense jungle and Gadget Riley's dampeners, were more of a concussive shockwave than a loud bang. They tore open the base's organic skin, revealing glowing energy conduits within. Major Reynolds led the breach, his team following with disciplined urgency. Inside, the FOB was a labyrinth of glowing organic pathways. Viridian guards, alerted by the breach, swarmed them. This was where humanity's desperate ingenuity truly shone. Dr. Petrova unleashed a widespread EMP pulse from the bunker, tailored to the Viridian-specific technology. The skimmers' advanced camouflage flickered, then failed, revealing them as clearly as day. Their phasing technology sputtered, making them vulnerable. Now visible, they became targets. Maya Singh, the combat medic, deployed biolure flares that pulsed with a strange, sweet scent. Moments later, the jungle's more aggressive fauna, large, multi-limbed predators with glowing eyes, burst into the base, drawn by the irresistible scent, attacking the Viridian soldiers indiscriminately and creating a vital diversion. Liam O'Malley threw down a cluster of echo mines into the main corridor, their synchronized sonic bursts sending waves of disorientation through the Viridian ranks, causing them to stumble and seize up. Reynolds, leading the charge, methodically cleared a path to the base's core, the main energy conduit, and the command center. Dr. Carter, observing from the bunker via remote cameras, guided them through the twisting passages. The Viridians were stunned. They had expected a conventional, desperate frontal assault. They had not prepared for this blend of technological sabotage, bio-warfare, and disciplined guerrilla tactics. Their advanced systems, so reliant on their perfect harmony, were thrown into disarray by human ingenuity. Reaching the core, Reynolds and O'Malley planted their final, most potent charges on the main energy conduit. "Time to go!" Reynolds roared, pulling his team back. The explosion was deafening, ripping through the heart of the FOB. The massive organic structure shuddered, then imploded, sending a massive shockwave of dust and energy across the jungle. The human team, battered but exhilarated, made a clean, swift retreat, vanishing back into the jungle's shadows. Back at their own outpost, the scientists cheered, their faces streaked with grime and exhaustion. They had done it. They had destroyed the heart of the Viridian hegemony's presence on Xylos, but their victory was short-lived. Elder Viridia, the overall commander of the hegemony, was incandescent with fury. Her telepathic transmission, no longer veiled by deceptive calm, ripped through the silent mental space of Xylos, echoing with rage and disbelief. You have proven inconvenient. A persistent infection. But your time ends now. This is a final warning. Surrender, or face extinction. She declared open war, mobilizing every available Viridian force on Xylos. Then came the second, devastating blow. Dr. Carter's deep space sensors, still monitoring, picked up a single, massive energy spike. A precision strike, remote and devastating. "The Starseeker," he whispered, his voice hollow. "It's gone. They knew. They hit our ship." The grim reality settled over them like a shroud. There was no going back. Their only lifeline to Earth, their only means of escape, was gone. There were just 10 humans, stranded on an alien world, facing a technologically superior and now enraged alien hegemony. They had to fight. And they had to win. The destruction of the Starseeker slammed into them, a physical blow worse than any alien weapon. Dr. Carter's voice, usually so calm and analytical, cracked as he delivered the news. There was no escape. No going back to Earth. 10 humans, stranded on an alien world, facing an enraged Viridian hegemony. It was win or die. "So," Major Reynolds said, breaking the stunned silence, his voice surprisingly steady. "Looks like Plan A is out. Time for Plan B. Turn this entire planet into our personal kill box." His usual humor was gone, replaced by a steely resolve. This wasn't about surviving anymore, it was about taking down an empire. Their strategy shifted from a surgical strike to a brutal, protracted guerrilla war. They were outnumbered, outgunned in conventional terms, but they possessed a key advantage, an intimate understanding of Xylos, forged in desperation, and an enemy completely unprepared for the sheer cunning of humanity. Xylos, the kidnapped Viridian, now a crucial, albeit unwilling ally, provided invaluable insights. His knowledge of Viridian movement patterns, command structures, and even their psychological vulnerabilities was the compass that guided their desperate fight. He saw the cold logic of human survival, a logic his hegemony had overlooked. The remaining 8 humans, now hardened by loss and driven by a primal need to survive, began to lay their grand trap. Xylos, with all its vibrant, dangerous beauty, would become their weapon. Dr. Aris Vance, the xenobotanist, and Dr. Anya Sharma, the tactical biologist, became the architects of Xylos's biological wrath. They concocted larger, more potent biolore flares, using Xylos's most volatile compounds. These flares, when deployed near Viridian patrol routes, pulsed with an irresistible scent, attracting the planet's deadliest fauna. Gigantic, multi-limbed, acid-spitting beasts, usually solitary, swarmed the Viridian patrols, turning sections of the jungle into horrifying, gory battlefields where the aliens were simply prey. They also developed biologically active compounds that, when sprayed, rapidly degraded the Viridians' advanced camouflage, forcing their elite skimmer units into stark visibility. Dr. Kalen Thorne, the materials engineer, worked feverishly with Liam Boom O'Malley. They established quake traps in Xylos's unstable geological zones, deep fissures, precarious rock formations, and mudslide-prone inclines. These traps, rigged with sensitive human sensors, were designed to cause localized landslides, rockfalls, or quicksand-like mudslides, burying or disorienting entire Viridian units. Thorne, with his deep understanding of Xylos's geology, found areas where a single, well-placed charge could unleash the fury of the planet itself. Dr. Lena Petrova, the comms specialist, turned her expertise to psychological warfare and sensory deprivation. She created widespread communication blackouts and sensor whiteouts, invisible zones where Viridian comms failed, and their sophisticated sensors became useless, leaving them blind and deaf in the perilous jungle. She developed a high-frequency sonic pulse, tuned just below human hearing, that drove the Viridian skimmers to distraction, making them jittery and irritable. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan and Private Finn Gadget Riley excelled at the hit-and-run tactics, deploying silent echo mines, cutting Viridian supply lines, and creating diversionary attacks that sowed chaos and fear among the enemy. They made the Viridians feel hunted by an invisible, relentless enemy, chipping away at their morale. Major Reynolds orchestrated the entire guerrilla war, his mind a step ahead of Elder Viridia's, anticipating their every move, luring them deeper into the waiting traps. The fight became a brutal war of attrition. The Viridians, despite their overwhelming numbers, were constantly disoriented, trapped, and picked off. Every advance became a nightmare. Their telepathic network, once a source of unity, now hummed with fear and frustrated fury. The human team, though successful, paid a heavy price. In one particularly harrowing engagement, while trying to secure a vital geothermal vent, 2 scientists were lost. Dr. Kalen Thorne, ever the innovator, was deploying a new type of EMP trap, a larger, more powerful version of his echo mines, designed to cripple a massive Viridian convoy. He was almost done when a hidden skimmer unit ambushed him. He managed to detonate the device, sending a crippling EMP wave through the convoy, but the energy surge, coupled with enemy fire, consumed him. He died a hero, his final act paralyzing a significant portion of the enemy. Hours later, while attempting to strategically deploy a new bioagent that would turn a large section of the jungle into a no-go zone for the Viridians, Dr. Aris Vance was cornered by a group of enraged skimmers. She knew the compound was unstable, capable of inflicting severe harm if not handled perfectly. With a grim determination, she triggered its release manually, unleashing a wave of highly toxic spores that enveloped her and her attackers. Her sacrifice ensured that the Viridians could not advance through that vital choke point, but it cost humanity one of its most brilliant minds. The remaining 8 humans, now fewer in number but hardened by the sacrifices of their comrades, fought on. Viridian frustration turned into uncontrolled rage. Elder Viridia's telepathic communications, once arrogant and poised, were now laced with fury and disbelief. How can such primitives achieve this? They are insignificant. But the insignificant primitives had decimated their numbers and shattered their morale. The climax was approaching. Major Reynolds, with Dr. Carter's strategic genius, orchestrated their final move. They systematically lured the remaining exasperated Viridian forces to a specific, highly disadvantageous terrain, a narrow canyon prone to tremors, a natural funnel where Xylos's most aggressive flora thrived. The stage was set for the final, decisive engagement. The last stand of the 10, now 8, was about to begin. The air in the canyon was thick with anticipation, heavy with the scent of damp earth and the distant hum of enraged Viridian forces. The final confrontation had arrived. Elder Viridia, her telepathic presence vibrating with raw fury, had cornered the 8 remaining humans. She expected a final, desperate stand, a futile last burst of defiance. What she received was a masterclass in calculated annihilation. This wasn't a direct firefight. It was the culmination of every trap, every piece of intelligence, and every sacrifice made. Major Jax Joker Reynolds, his face etched with exhaustion, but his eyes burning with tactical brilliance, orchestrated the symphony of destruction. Sergeant Kira Shadow Khan, a ghost in the verdant shadows, silently planted the final echo mines at critical choke points within the canyon. Liam Boom O'Malley, a grim smile on his face, prepared his specialized demolitions, ready to trigger localized rock slides with pinpoint accuracy. Private Finn Gadget Riley monitored the Viridian comms, feeding real-time positional data to his team. As the Viridian forces swarmed into the canyon, Dr. Lena Petrova unleashed a planet-wide EMP wave, specifically tuned to disrupt Viridian phasing and communication. Skimmers, once shimmering and elusive, became solid targets, their internal comms a screech of static. Panic rippled through their ranks. Then Dr. Anya Sharma, with grim precision, activated the last of their biolure flares. The canyon erupted with the roars of Xylos's apex predators, drawn by the irresistible scent, throwing themselves into the Viridian lines with savage ferocity. Dr. Ben Carter, the astrophysicist, used his knowledge of Xylos's geology to pinpoint the precise moment for O'Malley to trigger his traps. The ground beneath the Viridians buckled, massive boulders tumbling down, crushing entire formations of alien soldiers. Chaos reigned. The Viridians, once so orderly and confident, were now disoriented, hunted by a planet turned hostile, their advanced technology failing against the ingenious primitive countermeasures of humans. Elder Viridia's telepathic screams filled the mental space, a crescendo of disbelief and rage. Impossible! How can these primitives withstand us? But they were not just withstanding, they were dominating. Every remaining human used their specialized skills with deadly efficiency. Maya Singh, a blur of motion, treated their own few injuries while delivering precise, demoralizing psychological assaults on the remaining Viridians. The battle ended not with a final, glorious charge, but with the Viridians breaking, fleeing in utter disarray. Elder Viridia, her command structure shattered, her forces decimated, fled into the depths of Xylos, a broken and humiliated leader. Humanity, 8 strong, stood victorious, the silence of the jungle now a testament to their cunning and unbreakable will. With Xylos finally secured, the daunting task of returning home began. Their ship, the Starseeker, was a charred ruin, but they had the knowledge. They scavenged relentlessly from the destroyed Starseeker and the obliterated Viridian fob. Xylos, the kidnapped alien, witnessed the humans' overwhelming victory and realized the catastrophic folly of his hegemony's beliefs. He fully cooperated, his knowledge of Viridian propulsion systems, energy sources, and sublight drives proving critical. Under the tireless guidance of Dr. Petrova and Gadget Riley, with the strategic oversight of Dr. Carter and the raw labor of the security team, a new ship began to take shape. It was a marvel of improvisation, a hybrid vessel, cobbled together from human and alien tech, patched with Xylos's resilient materials. It was smaller than the Starseeker, utilitarian and rough-hewn, but it was perfectly capable of interstellar travel. It was a testament to their sheer ingenuity, born from desperation. Thus, the long journey back to Earth was filled with quiet reflection. The 8 survivors were living legends, having achieved what no fleet could have. They brought not just news of a new habitable planet, but a story of incredible resilience and cunning. Their tale ignited a new fire in humanity, a belief in intelligence, adaptability, and the indomitable human spirit over brute force or borrowed technology. After a few years, enough time to build a larger but still carefully designed fleet that embodied the lessons learned from the 10, humanity returned to Xylos. This time they came with a significantly larger population, more resources, and a quiet confidence born of earned victory. As the new human fleet approached Xylos's vibrant green horizon, a single, powerful telepathic transmission resonated through space. It was from the surviving Viridian forces, led by a new, less fanatical command structure that had witnessed the full extent of the hegemony's defeat. The message was clear, devoid of arrogance, filled with a new profound respect. We surrender. Unconditionally. They had fully realized humanity's true strength, not in numbers or in overwhelming force, but in intellect, cunning, and an unbreakable will to survive. These primitives, once seen as a virus, had turned Xylos into their weapon, transforming defeat into triumph. Humanity had not just found a new home. They had earned their place among the stars, proving their worth through sheer ingenuity and courage. A new era of reluctant but undeniable cooperation on Xylos had begun.